This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance.
Hey guys, it's me, Moon and Papa, and you're watching my live stream right now on YouTube. Wow, this has been quite a week. So, the normal flow of this live stream is essentially me looking at Bitcoin and a couple of other charts, but today I really just want to focus on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and dominance charts to share a little bit about what I see in the market. So, if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to like this video more than I'd like you to subscribe if you see value in it. So we are steadily growing little by little. I have a live stream at this time every single week. This is my 11 a.m. Japan Standard Time in Tokyo, which would be 10 p.m. New York time, and it would be 7 p.m. LA time on Wednesday night. So it's nice to see everybody here. Now that we're getting started, it's just time to pop into it. But if you want more detail, this video that I released this week on Monday, I believe. Monday. This one has a lot of information, and it's amazing how well that played out. So I want to just jump right to TradingView. And I will say that it's not going to be an easy ride from here on out. This is where conviction is tested. This is where your nerves are going to be tested. You don't know anything about diamond hands until we're at this point. This is where a lot of stuff can go sideways fast. So the important thing to know right now is that we're looking better, but not amazing. So one really amazing thing is that yesterday our low of $20,111 is holding, and we closed a green candle. This is a great candle close. This is essentially a hammer. This is, even though I don't really like Japanese candlesticks that much, I don't find that to be that useful. This is an amazing candle to have right here. But it's just the daily. It's not the weekly, but I still think that we could go down and zigzag back and forth, but we're seeing a little bit of a rally right now, which is more or less a dead cat bounce. Let's be honest. It's not really a rally. A rally would be price action going way back up here to 30K. That would be a rally. This is more to be expected. This is actually what happened back here too, where we shot down and then the price moved up about 16-17% before going sideways again. So we are almost in that same range. So again, not super comforting yet. So let me talk about some lines that you're going to see on the screen first. So these trend lines I've had up for a long time. Actually, let me get rid of this topmost one because it makes no sense right now. Let me hide this, and actually let me hide the TBO. So that way it's just super easy to see. Okay. So this yellow line is our stronghold. This yellow line is our support. And this is drawn from 2017 up until this little test here. So this is essentially our horizontal, our sideways support. And it's held. Bitcoin didn't even come close to touching it. Well, let's be honest, that's pretty close. I mean, this is at what, 19,930, and it wicked down to 20,111. So yeah, it's actually really close, like $50-$60 away. So anyway, I think the big thing to note is that for anyone that's feeling like, well, let's have a big bounce because we're gonna be bullish soon, right? I just want to make it super duper clear that we have so much overhead resistance. It's not even funny. Not to mention price points and levels like 26K, 30K, 42K. We are nowhere near any signs of bullish recovery yet. We are still in the trough. We're still suffering pretty badly. But for those of you that are wondering, okay, where are the glimmers of hope in all of this? Well, our glimmers of hope are basically, to be honest, they're really nowhere to be found right now, other than my prediction on price and when it would happen is spot on. So let me talk to you about that next. But just again, I want to make it super clear. Things don't look good, and I don't expect things to change immediately. So I've talked about this for such a long time. This is what my video was about on Monday, earlier this week. So I haven't changed anything. I said that about this week of June. Oh, let me go to the weekly time frame. I said this week, the week of June 13th, we're going to see Bitcoin crash and hopefully start its capitulation process. So capitulation isn't going to happen right away. It's not going to be like an instantaneous boom move. It's going to take a little bit of time. We have to see what happens next. So as far as this is all working out according to plan. It's doing an amazing job. So I want to reiterate though, that back here, this process took, what is this? It's taking forever. It's taking 14 bars, was back in 2014. And here in 2018, it was 126 bars. And those are weeks, right? So looking at 98 weeks, not 98 weeks, 14 bars. I'm sorry, I'm looking at 98 days. I'm sorry. 14 bars are 18 bars. 98 days are 126 days. Post, open short, should be the bottom. That's what I'm expecting. So now we're in bottom territory. I know that things could get a lot worse. I know that dancing on 20K is scary and we could drop. It's possible. But according to what I've been looking at and expecting, we are right on time, exactly when I thought we would start our bottoming process, literally to the week. So that's incredible. So now we have this range. So let's see what it takes for us to get out of this. So for one, it's going to be a couple of things. It's going to be volume, it's going to be RSI, and it's going to be candle close. So let's take a look at volume first. Now we're on Bitstamp, not so reliable because the volume has died a lot, but let's just see what the volume looks like on our capitulation moments here. So here is our big wick down back here on the week of January 12th, 2015. So huge volumes for Bitstamp. I don't even need to measure it. It's a lot of volume. And then we can see a green candle on the weekly time frame right after that. That's it. To me, capitulation is going to be a lot of volume, a long lower wick on the weekly, and the next candle to follow will be green. So it means we're waiting 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks to see what happens next. So I went too far. Let's go back over here. Let's go back to 2018. So here we go. We got our big volume down. We have our green wick. Essentially, that was our capitulation. Even though we fell, we dropped and drooped a little bit further. So from our wick to our low, we fell another 10%. So if we follow suit and we wait another 2 weeks to really bottom out, so we're looking at this, we fall another 10%, that would be 18K. So looking at where we are now, the volume is almost there, but not quite as amazing. Again, this is Bitstamp. It's not as accurate as this reflection. So now we're looking at Bitcoin, and the reason why I focus on BTC USDT on Binance is because Binance has the most trading volume for Bitcoin on any stablecoin market. So BTC USDT has the most trading volume. Therefore, I look at this the most to get a better gauge of the market. So we do have the start of what looks like to be that bottom. We still have 3 days left in this candle, but look, we have our long lower wick so far. And if we can close our next week, the week of the 20th, green, to me, that would be it. That would be confirmation for me. I know it feels really, really premature to do this, because I'm sure you're not alone in all of the fear and the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that you're seeing on crypto Twitter and on YouTube. A lot of people talking about the Fed raising hikes up to 1%, and then there's meetings to come, and then there's all this drama with Su Zhu with Three Arrows Capital, and there's also FUD around MicroStrategy and all of this fear right now. But you know what? We got to look at that as contrarians. We have to look at it and go, there's so much fear. Like, there is unprecedented fear right now in the markets, isn't there? What we should have done, what I should have done and been more aware of consciously, is when we're at the top back here, when we were close to 69K and everyone is bullish, including me, I should have stopped and said, hold on. Crypto Twitter's bullish. YouTube is bullish. I'm feeling super euphoric and happy. I should be selling some, but I didn't. I sold some, but not near enough. So here we are on the flip side. After falling, well, wick to wick, 70%, but even to where we are now, down 68%. What is the sentiment? The sentiment is extreme fear. Should we buy into the fear? Or should we realize that this is an opportunity? This could be the bottom. Now, I've made lots of videos about this. Again, the one that I made most recently, that's over here. You can see on YouTube, the end is near. Not that crypto is done, but that I think the end of the bear market is near, or rather the beginning of the end of it. At least this downward trend that we've been watching, and I've been watching like a hawk. So let me go back to talking about a couple things. So again, I said the first thing I'm looking at is volume, and volume is growing. That looks good to me. So if the volume is growing, which is good, that's only one part of it. The second part is the candle close, and we're not going to know candle close until the week of the 27th. So we still have to wait 11 days to find out we're going to have to wait until after next week's candle close. If next week's candle closes green, if you missed out buying down here, it's okay. We're going to talk about that in a second. But we need to wait for confirmation. We're not going to get super duper excited and giddy right now and buy up everything we can, because we still could fall lower. There's always a possibility. So the first thing is volume. The second thing is candle action. What happens to the next candle after our big drop down? Is it green? That would be confirmation that we can go up higher. Do you miss out on the super duper lows? Yes. Do you still get a great deal? Absolutely. Do you miss out on the very bottom? Yes. But do you still get a great deal? Yes. Look where it goes. Look where it went. That's what you have to think about. Don't feel like you have to catch the very, very bottom. That is so foolish. Don't try to catch the bottom. Wait for the bottom to reveal itself. The bottom revealed itself. Boom. There we go. It's done. The bottom revealed itself. Boom. There it is. So that's what we're doing. We're being patient. We are waiting for capitulation. We are in the beginning stages of it. I think we're really close. So the next thing that I am watching and I'm getting really excited about is RSI. So again, first thing, it's volume. Second thing, candle color, candle like price action. And then it's RSI. RSI in the weekly, just to help you out, and I'll hide everything up there. Right now, we are at 14. So the way that RSI works is that anything below 30, and I like to go a little bit more bearish and go down to 25, but anything below 30 is oversold. Anything above 70 is overbought. Keep that in mind. So if we're at values more than half below 30, we're at 14. And if we look at where we are right now, looking at 14 something, there we go. We're at 14. This is 1478. It's okay. I want you to see how many times the chart for BTC has been down this low. We still have 3 days to go. But I mean, the lowest it got was back here. Let me turn this back on. We got as low as 12.26 in an immature market. In our most recent bear market, the very bottom, I noticed it did a double tap. It went down, came up, and then it went down again. it was still below 20. So look, it went down as low as 14.76 on RSI. We're actually lower than, RSI is lower now than it was back in 2018. So before you start to get all, well, that's because the Fed and the macroeconomics, yeah, maybe that's true. But we got to look at metrics, because not metrics, we need to look at indicators, because they're based on formulas. They're not going to change. They're not influenced by what Jerome Powell is saying. They're not influenced by whenever MicroStrategy or Michael Saylor buys more Bitcoin or El Salvador does. None of these indicators care about that. They're just looking at the charts and the price action, and they're giving you a number. So you have to look at that non-biased. You have to look at that and realize this isn't trying to coddle you. This is telling you exactly what it is. So when we look at the action, where we are now at 14.06 for RSI, and we haven't been this low in 8 years, that should slap you awake. It really should. Could we go lower? Yes. But still, this is very low. Now, in the video, I also talked about our monthly performance. I want you to see here that for the monthly RSI, and this is RSI with a length of 7, our current value for RSI is basically back here when the chart was just brand new. So here we are at 31.58, and it was as low as 28 on the monthly. But this is when it was super fresh and immature, and it was just getting started. Again, we still have 15 days to go. It might not close this low. It might close up a little bit higher. But anything below the value of 35 is our bear market territory. Check it out. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to appease you and soothe your emotions. I'm trying to show you what the charts are telling you, even if you don't see it or you want to believe it. Here's our big wick down on the monthly time frame. So the next month, we have a green candle, and then RSI crossed up 35. That was it. That was it. We still had, 8 months of sideways action before we moved up higher. So let's fast forward to 2018. Here we go. This is it. It crossed below 35 here, November 1st. It stayed below, and then finally we got our green candle. And look, RSI crossed up 35 on the monthly. We have our green candle. We get 3 more months of sideways action until our April 1st, actually 2 months. And then April 1st, it really shot up. So what does that mean for where we are right now? And again, I just want to point out how much I have to actually scroll up, because the overall trajectory of BTC is up, up, and away. Okay, just to remind you, so you don't get too zoomed in on the faster time frames. So what does that mean for us now? Well, that means that we could still have RSI be low next month, maybe even another month. It could, Bitcoin's price action could stay in this really tight range between 20K and 24K or 25K for the next 2 or 3 months over the summer. I kind of expect that to happen, to be honest. So I'm not expecting things to bounce back right away. We're not in a black swan event. This is a bona fide bear market. So we have to take that into account. Don't get too anxious to get out of it. So I just wanted to share that before I go on. Now I'll do Ethereum last. I want to talk about this. So Bitcoin dominance has dropped 5% this week, which is quite surprising. It looked very promising to see it move up higher, and it rose up as high as 48%, but it never cracked above 50%. Why is this a big deal? Well, when Bitcoin dominance moves up, typically that means that more entities are holding Bitcoin, which is good for the market. It's good for price action. It's good for Bitcoin holders. Now we can see that it's normal for price action to move up higher and then all of a sudden to drop and then do all this kind of stuff for Bitcoin dominance. But as long as Bitcoin dominance is below 50%, we're not really going to see any significant change in Bitcoin's price action. But as soon as Bitcoin dominance goes above 50%, alt holders will have no choice but to sell their alts and that means they're going to put it into Bitcoin, which is going to run up, and then it'll come back down. And when it comes down, then there's going to be a change, a transition into alts. So the reason why it's down right now is because people are getting overexcited with this move. As you can see here, for others is up 7% this week. Even though we've fallen down a lot, people are anxious to make money. They don't want to wait for slow and steady wins the race. They don't want to wait for Grandpa Bitcoin. They want to put their money into alts. So that's why we've been seeing alts moving up this week. It doesn't make sense. We've also lost a lot of market cap because of Luna and now Celsius, I'm sure. So people are looking to make money the way that they've been making money since 2020. And that's been with the altcoin market. But the reality is that the altcoin market's not going to last. It's great for trading up your BTC and trading up your stablecoins, but it's not going to last. The last thing I want to show you is that USDT dominance is not slowing down. It got up as high as 8.68%. Getting close to 10% stablecoins shows a lot of fear and uncertainty in the markets. Now, this is still a new metric. It only goes back to 2018, but you have to admit that this is pretty amazing. If we think about our March move, when we had the big Corona crash, it moved up quite a lot, even though the rest of the market did recover. And then we got a lot, well, Bitcoin was starting to move up higher and higher. Less people were holding stables. And then this is when we had our alt season. And then boom, that's when we had our crash. People put it into stables. So there's a lot of fear right now. So conversely, when we see this moving down, that should also be a sign that Bitcoin and everything else should be moving up. Keep an eye on your dominance charts. I talk about these a lot more in the club, but I just wanted to give you just a quick little tour de dominance. Okay, so Ethereum has had a rough couple of weeks, even on the monthly chart. For the month, Ethereum is down 37%. Last month, 28%. The month before that, 17%. Ethereum is experiencing a whole lot of pain. It cracked below a lot of my targets that I had, and now we're just looking to see where could it fall next. My target, as I said in my videos, my target was $1,000 for the bottom for Ethereum. And where did it go? 1,014. Could it fall lower? Yeah. If it does fall lower, I'm expecting it to fall here next to 854. That makes the most sense. And then down here to 520. But I have a hard time seeing it drop down to this level. There'd have to be some terrible, terrible news for Ethereum. So one thing that could drop it, though, I should say, is that if the merge, Ethereum 2.0, happens and the unlock schedule is just everyone is free to get their Ethereum back. And remember that they staked a majority of their Ethereum back here when the price was moving up, right? So if you staked your Ethereum back in November 2020 and now the price is all the way down here, like you missed out on selling your Ethereum, you would be pretty ticked off, right? So maybe you've made some Ethereum by staking, but you've missed out on this entire run. Like that's pretty raw. That's a little bit unfair. I say it's a little bit unfair. So I think it's important to remember that Ethereum could still fall. It really could still fall, as much as you may not believe it. Just because Ethereum 2.0, when that's done and released, boy, they're going to be selling. Now, when we look at RSI again, we are down to some major levels. RSI is currently at 1345. The low on the weekly time frame for this chart is 1379. We could find it on, maybe it's Kraken. Yeah. So we can find it going a lot lower over here. So we got 1409 on Kraken. And then back here, it was as low as 1469. So we are in brand spanking new lows for RSI, where we are right now, compared to our bear market in 2018, compared to this drop in 2016. So again, the whole point of this is to remind you that you've got to listen to your emotions. Your emotions are actually extremely spot on, but you have to look at them objectively. Don't give in to the fear and the panic. Listen to your thoughts. Listen to what you're saying and what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're sending messages. Reread your messages, because that should be giving you an indication of where we are in this cycle, because every single market has a cycle. Every single market cannot sustain one trend forever. That's something that took me a while to figure out. And that's something that's so simple and so easy. No trend can last forever. So when we look at charts like this and we're feeling really bummed out about price performance, it does help to look in the past to see, well, what did Ethereum do? It dropped 95% over basically a year. So if Ethereum's going to do the same thing, dropping 95%, I mean, that puts it to some disgusting levels, which I have a hard time believing. But that's a long time too. That would mean that we still have a long ways to go if it's going to emulate this past market, which I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's really hard to say. So I see a couple of you posting messages and stuff like that in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them, or at least review them, because I haven't been looking at them at all. Let me see. Should we? That's what I get for having my window open and people having these stupid motorcycles here. That's not even a motorcycle. You know, it's like one of those like Vespa kind of scooters that they've just taken off the exhaust, whatever. Anyway, so the Fed did say 75 basis points today. That's great. That's what I was expecting. I actually talked about this in the Better Traders Club in our live stream yesterday, because I had to push it back a little bit. But I said, I think that this sell-off has been priced in, like we've seen happen before. People are thinking it's going to be way worse. The market drops. We realize, oh, it's not that bad. So then things start to come up a little bit. So that's good to know. Should we start buying now, or do you think this is a dead cat bounce? I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you that I'm buying, and I have been buying on the way down. I don't think that there's anything wrong with buying some here. I don't think there's anything wrong with buying where BTC, if it falls down here to like 16 or 17K. 17K is my target for like the lowest it could go, in my opinion. Where is it? Nope, wrong chart. There we go. And targets. So 17,340. That's where I'm thinking that it's going to stop. But we do have the TBO telling us it could drop here to 16. And terrible worst case scenario would be 13 or 10, I mean 12. Like, that's crazy. But we can't discount crazy. So we got to make sure that we are making good decisions based on what we're comfortable with. So should we start buying now? Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt to buy some now. But it seems like it's just going to be doing a lot of this. Let me reiterate something too, that just because we fall down doesn't mean that we're going to go right back up. As soon as we capitulate, even then, we should have a couple of months of sideways action between 20K and 30K before anything happens. I think that by the end of this year, we'll go back up to 42K. I think that's a magic number that we've already clearly established. So I think 42K or 50K by the end of the year seems reasonable. But I haven't done a lot of research to figure that out yet. But I can guarantee you that once we capitulate, we're still going to go sideways for quite a while. Nothing's really going to change with that. Like, we're still going to be moving sideways for a while. So if you weren't able to buy the very, very bottom right at $20,100, even if we drop a little bit lower, if you're not able to buy that bottom, I'm still confident that we're going to do a lot of this. So one last thing to point out on the chart is that it's important to remember where we've been and where we can go. Now, I haven't done a lot of work on this, but, and let me actually choose a cleaner chart. Just a second. So I'm going to hide a lot of this stuff. Okay. So let's say that we actually have bottomed out. If we actually have bottomed out, where could we go next as far as our price targets are concerned? Well, to me, it seems like this next rally, we could be making these crazy moves up higher. I'm not trying to give you some hopium. Right now, I'm not trying to make you get all giddy and excited. I want to help you balance out the RSI that you're seeing and where we are right now compared to what will happen next. Because if you remember, the trajectory has been up for a long time. I know it could change. I'm not saying that it's always going to go up and to the right forever, but Bitcoin has the best chance of surviving. So based on where we are right now in this recent low, where could we be going next? Well, having some resistance just below 100K, going up to 150K, maybe even up to 250K. It just depends. To me, 150K seems reasonable. If we think about the moves that we've had from this market post-halving. So this would be May 11th right here. So let's do a quick little, where is it? I think it's, I always get mixed up. Oh, here we go. So if we take from our halving, May 11th, to our market top, and it does exactly the same thing. We'll actually say right here, because this is really the market top. So, and we are expecting us to be at around 42K or something like that. So again, this is all super hypothetical. This is not well researched at all, just so you know. But if we say 42K, and that's where we are during our halving event. So we're looking at 36K or 40K. That would put us topping out at 200K plus, maybe. If we are dancing around this range of 32K and 36K by the time that we're ready to do our halving, which again should be way out here. So halving event's going to be here about March or May. So let's say if it's March 2024, that would put us at topping out here in February or February 2025 to be our next market cycle high. So I'm going to leave this up here again because I just need to reiterate that if you got most of your BTC at 30K and our target's going to be even 100K, that's still a 234% gain. If it's 150K right here, that's 388%, and it would be 600% or so if it actually goes that high. So the difference between 600%, and 900%, I get it. It's a lot, but what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to be satisfied with any amount of profit, just like it says in the Better Traders Journal. I talk about this all the time. It doesn't, I mean, you're just splitting hairs. If you've bought most of your BTC all the way down, your dollar cost averaging down, it's okay. If we go below 20K, it's okay. Because the reality is that we're not going to stay here forever. We will beat our all-time high. It's going to happen. It's just what Bitcoin does. So I'm telling you this, again, not to give you a fresh dose of hopium, but to help you remember the reality that we're in a market cycle. I'm still of the firm belief that we are in a 4-year cycle, and that once we have our next halving event, which is in between, well, they're predicting it between March and May 2024, that will start the next bull cycle for us, and it'll be short and quick, just like the last one was. And then that's it. And we top out. We do the same thing again. So whether we're going to go up to 200K the next time around, it doesn't really matter. The point is that Bitcoin is going to recover because that's what Bitcoin does. There's a lot of great arguments for Bitcoin, and I can guarantee that Bitcoin is going to be politicized in 2024 when the US elections are happening, regrettably so. Because Bitcoin is neither blue or red or green or whatever. It's just Bitcoin. It's orange. So as we close up this live stream, I think it's important for you, if you're feeling like, I don't know, go ahead and rewatch that video on is this the end, and also capitulation that I have on my channel. Those will be really, really good videos for you to watch. And if you need more help and you want more updates, like basically daily updates, I highly suggest going to thebettertraders.com to check out the Better Traders Club. The last live stream we had was 2 hours long. It was crazy. My voice was so dry at the end of it. But there are a lot of tools. There's a lot of support. There's a ton of stuff that comes in the club. And you're going to be seeing a video about one of these tools, the stop loss hunting indicator, that I'm going to be releasing this Friday. So again, if you want extra support, the club is where it's at. I've been warning the club members about this for a while. So anyway, we're going to stop it there. So thanks again for hanging out with me today. And you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.